Just as I liked a post on my husband Marcus's social media, the discussions among my colleagues in the design studio erupted. In his latest post, Marcus, who never touched housework, was busy picking tea leaves at the tea farm in Mountain Hamlet, dressed in an expensive trench coat. Not only that, he proudly attached a caption, "A true man can strategize in the business world and sweat in the fields." Yet, just this morning, before he left, he told me he had to attend an industry summit in another province. So, the so-called summit was being held at a female colleague's tea farm. I stared at Marcus's triumphant face in the photo, but my heart remained unfazed. After silently liking the post, I turned off my phone. I didn't know what storm I would face next, but I knew our marriage had reached its end. Soon after, Marcus called, his voice a mix of post-work fatigue and anger. "Grace, what do you think you're doing liking that post? Trying to cause trouble? Luna's family isn't well off. What's wrong with me helping her out at the tea farm? A spoiled girl like you, raised in the city, wouldn't understand the hardships of Mountain Hamlet. Delete that like right now. Don't let our colleagues laugh at us. You might not be embarrassed, but I am. Next month, I'll definitely take you on a beach vacation. Always next month." I'd heard these empty promises countless times, and my heart had long gone numb. Besides, there was no next month for us. Because once news passed, our divorce waiting period would expire. I was about to say it wasn't necessary, but then Marcus's low curse came from the other end of the line, as if he'd accidentally pricked his hand on a tea plant, and he quickly hung up. I frowned, put down my phone, and continued to revise the design draft I was working on. A moment later, my phone's notification sounds rang continuously, like a relentless alarm. I opened it to find Luna had mentioned me in the work group, even specifically taking a screenshot of my liked post, and sharply questioned, "Ms. Grace, what exactly does your like mean? If you look down on my rural background, just say it directly, don't be so passive-aggressive. Mr. Marcus can humble himself to help me pick tea, but all you do is hide behind a screen making sarcastic remarks. You really lacked class." As soon as she said that, the group exploded. Colleagues, both known and unknown, echoed Luna, their words full of flatter. What was even more outrageous was that Marcus himself intervened, sending a message, "Grace, I demand you apologize to Luna immediately, or you'll be suspended for 2 months." His favoritism toward Luna was blatant. What chilled my heart even more was that none of the colleagues I usually got along with stood up for me. They seemed to have agreed, and the blame was entirely on me. Someone even labeled me a rural snob, saying I was petty and couldn't tolerate new hires. Even worse, an intern named Sarah jumped in, passive-aggressively saying, "Ms. Grace, if you think Luna is stealing your thunder, why don't you confront Mr. Marcus directly instead of playing petty games here?" I sneered, not bothering to argue. This whole commotion came out of nowhere, but if it could get Marcus to fire me, it would suit me perfectly. After all, 4 months ago, he had personally signed the divorce papers. It was a normal Monday. When I handed him the divorce papers, I still held a sliver of hope, thinking he would give them a second glance, or at least ask why we were separating. But took the document, his eyes never leaving his tablet, and quickly signed with a few strokes, as if signing an unimportant contract. I stood there stunned, looking at his scrawled signature on the papers. My heart ached, numb with pain. I couldn't help but ask, "You've finished reading it already?" He frowned, his voice impatient, his fingers still rapidly scrolling on the tablet. What could be wrong with a document Luna asked me to sign? If there's nothing, don't just stand here, go back to work. My fingers, clutching the papers, turned white. My heart felt as if an invisible hand was squeezing it, and I could barely breathe. It turned out, in his eyes, I didn't even deserve a second of his attention. He only trusted Luna. I lowered my head and saw his tightly furrowed brow suddenly relax, a gentle smile gracing his lips, like a boy in love. I secretly glanced at his tablet screen. Even though we were in the same studio, he was exchanging flirtatious messages with Luna, intimacy apparent in every word, and they had even made plans to go stargazing at the foothill campsite that night. The phone rang abruptly, pulling me back from my memories to reality. It was Marcus again, probably calling to force me to apologize to Luna in the group chat. I didn't want to answer, but he called more than a dozen times. Finally, my colleague Alex handed me the phone, whispering, "Mr. Marcus is looking for you, says it's urgent." I reluctantly picked up, my tone cold. "What is it?" "Grace, you've gotten quite bold, haven't you? Not replying to messages? not answering calls? Still trying to go against me? Marcus immediately started scolding me, his voice like he was lecturing a disobedient intern. What exactly do you want? I asked coldly. He scoffed. Someone just called me, said they were from the county clerk's office, and wanted to do divorce mediation for us. Do you know anything about this? My breathing hitched. Had he finally remembered signing the divorce papers? Before I could say anything, his accusations rained down like a storm. Grace, I thought you had some principles, but I didn't expect you to use such underhanded tactics. Finding someone to impersonate a county clerk's office employee to threaten me into divorce? You've genuinely surprised me. I was a bit stunned by his words. From nearby, I heard Luna's leisurely voice. It's all right, Mr. Marcus, she's probably just jealous you helped me out and wants you to come home sooner. Marcus sneered. Her, jealous of me? If she truly cared about me, she wouldn't deliberately pick fights and cause trouble when I've had a long day and just want to rest. I also smiled, a chilling smile deep in my heart. I remembered that day he was supposedly with Luna at a country music festival. He came back reeking of alcohol, completely unaware that my throat was so swollen from dust mite allergies that I could barely speak. As for his picking fights and causing trouble, it was just me, struggling from an allergy attack, dialing 911. But when he heard the knocking at the door, instead of asking if I was okay, he stormed out, severely lambasted the paramedics, and then locked the door. The next day, when he found me too sick to get out of bed, he complained that I was disrupting his creative inspiration, packed his luggage, and moved into Luna's guest house temporarily. I stayed home alone, relying on the medication I'd saved up for 7 days until my condition barely eased, but I was left with a persistent sore throat whenever it was humid. Yet, he never remembered any of this. He only remembered me disturbing his peace and quiet. Grace, I said in the group chat that you'd be suspended for 2 months. Do you have an issue with that? You can just fire me, or I'll resign. Either is fine. Marcus seemed unprepared for my response. He paused, his voice softening slightly as he coldly said, No need to fire you. Given your cooperative attitude, we'll try a different punishment. Luna said she wouldn't hold your passive-aggressive behavior against you, but all your future design projects must be handed over to her as emotional compensation. Aren't you going to thank Luna for giving you a chance to redeem yourself? Their words made me laugh in anger. They had publicly humiliated me, then turned the tables on me, making it my fault. Marcus was a master at twisting the facts. Just like before, Luna had lost a client's original design but insisted I hadn't backed it up in time. Another time, she accompanied a client to a dinner party, got drunk, and tore up the client's custom draft, nearly ruining the collaboration. But didn't blame her. Instead, in front of the entire studio, he criticized me for not checking her condition beforehand. Even more infuriating, just last night, Luna accidentally dropped and broke a design model I had painstakingly worked on for a month in the studio, claiming my hand slipped. Marcus not only didn't blame her but, in front of the entire studio, said I was careless, which was why the model wasn't stable. I had long since had enough of such days. So I replied calmly, thank her for her kindness, but I'll still resign. It's better for everyone. Without waiting for his response, I hung up. Just then, Sarah sent another message in the group chat, fanning the flames. Ms. Grace, are you targeting Luna like this because Mr. Marcus gave her the exhibition spot for next month? If you're so capable, go fight for it yourself, don't play petty schemes here. I frowned. Exhibition spot? That was for my solo design exhibition, which I had been preparing for 6 months. All the pieces were completed by me, working late nights. But yesterday, Marcus had casually mentioned that the spot needed to be given to a more promising new talent. Now, it seemed, that person was Luna. I sneered, ignoring the gossip and rumors in the group, and immediately began drafting my resignation letter. At this, my colleagues cast curious glances my way. I swept my gaze over them, and they quickly lowered their heads, pretending to be busy. Just then, an unfamiliar number called. Hello, I'm calling from the county clerk's office. I'd like to confirm, do you and Mr. Marcus require divorce mediation? No, all right. Please come to the county clerk's office next week during business hours to pick up your divorce certificate. After hanging up, I let out a long breath. This 8-year marriage was finally coming to an end. I finished the design draft I was working on, wrote my resignation letter, and handed it to the administrative department. Marcus wasn't in the studio, so I could only let administration handle it for now. I didn't want to stay in this studio for another moment. As I passed the administrator's desk, I noticed a glass figurine on it. A delicate bird figurine, covered in a thin layer of dust. That was a souvenir Marcus had given to every colleague in the studio 8 years ago when we first got married. He had spent days choosing this bird figurine, saying it symbolized our love, free and eternal. I still remembered him holding my hand back then, smiling as he said, "Grace, we will soar like this bird, forever." But now, this bird figurine was forgotten in a dusty corner. Just like our marriage, long replaced by time and a new person. The administrator noticed me looking at the figurine and scoffed, "Don't bother looking. It's no use. It's not yours anymore. Your resignation papers are processed, you can leave." I came back to my senses, gave a bitter smile, and said nothing. Back at my desk to pack my things, I found my table piled high with junk. Waste paper, coffee cups, snack wrappers, all messy. My personal items were all thrown on the floor. I looked around. My colleagues eyed me, a look of amusement on their faces. They probably thought I had completely fallen out with Marcus, and once I left, they wouldn't have to pretend anymore. The coldness of human nature was exposed in that moment. I didn't want to give them the satisfaction, so I simply swept the clutter on the table onto the floor, clapped my hands, and walked away. After leaving the studio, I immediately contacted a real estate agent. I listed the loft I lived in for sale, and then I went to get my passport. 8 years ago, I stayed in Riverbend City for Marcus, giving up my dream of traveling the world. Now that I was getting a divorce, I could finally pursue my dream. In the past, I told Marcus that I wanted to travel, to hold his hand and walk through every corner of the world. But he never accompanied me on a single proper trip, always saying he was busy with projects, postponing again and again. I felt for his efforts and was willing to stay in his studio, serving as his lead designer for 8 years. Who knew everything would change after Luna arrived? Marcus pushed all the studio work onto me, while he took Luna traveling everywhere. At first, I thought he was on business trips, until Luna posted photos of them on social media. In every photo, they smiled intimately. The backgrounds were scenic landscapes, and the captions were full of flirtatious hints. It turned out, my concern for him was just an excuse for his act with impunity. Just like now, Luna knew Marcus would back her up, yet she continued to openly flaunt their relationship on social media. Marcus, who never cooked, personally made light snacks for Luna's family, laughing like a boy around the fireplace. Marcus, who was always reserved, offered tea respectfully to Luna's relatives. And amidst their cheering, he shared a cup of tea with Luna. Marcus had trouble sleeping in unfamiliar beds, yet in Luna's small courtyard, he leaned on her shoulder, a look of satisfaction on his face. This time, I was smarter. I just liked a post, no comments. Then I blocked Marcus and Luna's accounts, out of sight, out of mind. I spent a few days exploring a nearby city, waiting for my divorce certificate to arrive, then planned to start my world tour. The day I received the certificate, my mood was calm, even with a relieved smile. But when I returned to the loft and opened the door, I heard voices talking inside. Marcus, even though Luna is from Mountain Hamlet, she has so much more vibrancy than Grace. She knows how to please people. She doesn't have many bad habits, just occasionally drinks a special tea-based drink. She'll change once she has children. Mom, what are you saying? Grace and I are still married. Marcus's voice held a hint of triumph, but his tone was dismissive. He paused, then lowered his voice, with a trace of disdain. Besides, an uptight woman like Grace, always buried in creating designs, without any zest for life, how can she compare to Luna's vibrancy? His mother immediately agreed, exactly. Luna is so capable, unlike Grace, who always has a cold face, as if someone owes her money. What's so special about being married? You can still get divorced. William's voice cut in, full of contempt. I think Luna is grounded and hardworking, much better than that arrogant woman, Grace. What can she do besides create a few designs? She can't even keep a home tidy. I sneered. I didn't drink alcohol, nor did I have any bad habits. But in Marcus and his parents' eyes, I had become synonymous with being uninteresting, uptight, and useless. They had completely forgotten how, 8 years ago, they had admired my design talent, praising me for being able to help Marcus's career take off. Marcus, don't spoil her too much either, his mother continued. She even dared to be passive-aggressive with Luna in the group chat last time, clearly showing she doesn't respect you. What's the point of keeping a woman like that? Marcus scoffed. Her? She's just arrogant because I was foolish enough to marry her back then. If I had known she would be so uncooperative, I wouldn't have wasted 8 years. I clenched my fists, the chill in my heart deepening. 8 years of marriage, and in his mouth, it was wasted time. I didn't want to listen anymore, so I pushed the door open and walked in. The three of them saw me, their faces changing again and again. Marcus was the first to react, pointing at me angrily. Grace, you finally decided to come back? Not a single message for so many days. Are you trying to make me lose face in front of my colleagues? He stepped forward, his eyes full of disgust, staring at me fiercely. You selfish woman, always king only of yourself. If you keep throwing tantrums with me, believe it or not, I'll lock you out and you won't even be able to get through this door. My movements paused, and I looked up at his overbearing face. It seemed he still hadn't realized we were divorced. In the past, whenever I did something that displeased Marcus, he would lock me out. Regardless of whether it was bitterly cold or scorching hot outside, and regardless of how thinly dressed I was. Once, simply because I missed one reference image when organizing files for Luna. He scowled, mercilessly told me to get out, and cursed, saying, you can't even do such a small thing, and you have the nerve to stay here? Then he and Luna spent the night alone in the loft, their laughter filtering through the door crack, chilling my heart. At this moment, Luna actually walked out of the bedroom, dressed only in loose pajamas, rubbing her sleepy eyes, as if she had just been woken up. She glanced at me, her voice tinged with provocation. What's all the shouting about? Grace, what are you still doing here? Just throw her out, let her try and make a sound. Hearing this, a flicker of hesitation crossed Marcus's eyes, but it was immediately replaced by anger. Luna's right. You're an eyesore here, Grace, you better be sensible. His parents immediately agreed. Exactly. A useless woman, what nerve does she have to cling on? Marcus, don't let her playing the victim fool you. Marcus, you're just too kind. How dare an arrogant woman like Grace go against you? Besides creating a few worthless designs, she's utterly useless. Under his parents stirring things up, Marcus's gaze grew even darker. He sneered, waving his hand at me as if shooing away an annoying fly. Get out. Give me a few days to cool off. During this time, Luna will be staying here with me. If you don't obey, I'll have someone throw all your things out right now. When I actually divorce you, you won't even have a place to cry. I let out a cold laugh. No need to wait. Under their shocked gazes, I took 2 green divorce certificates from my bag and slapped them on the table. As you wished, we are already divorced. The 4 of them froze, staring at the certificates on the table, speechless. Luna looked at me suspiciously, then stepped forward, picked up the certificates, and carefully examined them. A good-for-nothing woman like you, would you really be willing to divorce Marcus? These certificates probably aren't even real, are they? Marcus's expression softened slightly, then he glared at me fiercely. Grace, why are you still so vile? Didn't I tell you not to play these petty schemes? Do I have to call the police on you before you'll behave? He made a gesture to pull out his phone, his voice full of scorn. Someone like you, how can you survive without me? What's with this holier-than-thou act? But my expression was calm, unfazed. Instead, I let out a cold laugh. Marcus frowned, sensing something was wrong. What are you laughing at? Is putting on a show interesting? I'm laughing that you forgot the divorce papers you signed yourself. When did I? Marcus's words trailed off, his face instantly turning pale, as if he finally remembered the document I handed him 4 months ago. Unexpectedly, Marcus didn't seem relieved as I had imagined. Instead, he appeared flustered, a flash of disbelief in his eyes, and he mumbled, impossible. I never intended to really separate from you. Luna realized we had actually signed the divorce papers, and a flicker of secret delight crossed her eyes. But she quickly hid it, feigning innocence, and bitterly mocked, Grace, at least you have some self-awareness. It's better for both of you to separate from Marcus early. However, Marcus didn't look closely at that agreement. Who knows if you played tricks with the property distribution? Don't think your petty schemes can fool me. As she spoke, she deliberately took a step forward and harshly bumped my shoulder, glaring at me provocatively. I sneered, steadying myself, and calmly looked at her. Playing tricks? Are you referring to how you stole my designs and passed them off as your own to take credit? Luna's face changed. She was about to retort when Marcus slammed the table and roared, Grace, that's enough. Don't come here making baseless accusations. Luna was kind enough to help you, and you slander her? How can you be so venomous-hearted? Are you even human? His voice made the teacups on the table tremble, his eyes full of contempt and fury. I suddenly understood. Marcus wasn't flustered by the divorce itself, but by the possibility of me taking his assets, and even suspected I had tampered with the agreement. In this man's eyes, money and his reputation were always more important than me. Marcus's parents also reacted, surrounding me aggressively. William grabbed the divorce certificate and threw it hard at my feet. Luna's right. You either give up all property, or we'll sue you for fraud. Eleanor shrieked, accusing. Grace, you, a woman who relies on Marcus. He softened his tone, trying to soften the mood, coaxing me with sweet words like he did 8 years ago. Grace, I don't care about the money, but can you tell me why you absolutely want a divorce? Even if I went to the tea farm to help Luna and didn't go see David and Susan with you, it shouldn't come to this, right? I can overlook you signing the agreement behind my back. Let's go to the county clerk's office right now and withdraw the divorce. Whatever compensation you want, I'll give it to you. His tone was as gentle as it had been 8 years ago. Whenever he and Luna did something out of line, he would use such flowery words to appease me. Once, I simply couldn't swallow it and insisted on dragging him to the county clerk's office. But he was uncharacteristically gentle, embraced me, and apologized in a low voice, promising to turn over a new leaf. I was foolish enough to believe his lies then. And I gave up the idea of divorce. He precisely knew I was reluctant to let go of our 8 years together, and presuming upon my love, he challenged my bottom line again and again. But this time, I wouldn't go back. Seeing my silence, Marcus thought I was hesitating. His face flushed, and he approached me, whispering, "All right, you've always wanted me to take you to the coast, haven't you? I won't leave these next few days, I'll spend time with you." I scoffed and stepped back, creating distance between us. No need. You should go build a family with Luna. Didn't you say she has more vibrancy than me? I'll grant you that wish. Marcus's eyes widened, anger reigniting. He slammed the table and glared at me. Grace, must you be so shameless? Do you think you can survive without me? Don't forget, for the past 8 years, I've been supporting you. Who would even look at your lousy designs without me? His roar echoed in the loft, carrying undisguised contempt and fury. Luna's eyes flashed with a hint of triumph, but knowing Marcus was wavering, she quickly jumped in to smooth things over. Ms. Grace, Marcus and I are just colleagues. What building a family? How about we sit down and talk it through? There must be a better solution. As she spoke, she reached out to grab my arm, feigning innocence. I frowned, stepping aside to avoid her touch. Unexpectedly, Luna used the momentum to grab my wrist and yanked me towards her, then fell to the ground herself. Her head hit the coffee table with a thud. She clutched her forehead, feigning pain, and whimpered, "Ms. Grace, why are you doing this? I just wanted to persuade you." Marcus immediately rushed over, knelt to check on Luna, then looked up and roared at me. Grace, are you insane? You know Luna isn't well, and you still dared to push her. You just can't stand her being better than you can't tolerate her, can you? He abruptly stood up, pointing his finger at my nose and cursing. I must have been blind to marry a venomous-hearted woman like you. You're so good at using vile tactics, and you have the nerve. His parents also surrounded me, accusing me in a cacophony of voices. Marcus, look clearly, this woman is so cruel. Luna kindly tried to persuade her, but she repaid kindness with ingratitude. Grace, do you have any humanity left? Marcus marrying you was the worst luck imaginable. Luna seized the opportunity to add fuel to the fire, saying weakly, Marcus, don't blame Ms. Grace, she might just be upset that I got the exhibition spot. I can give it to her. I coldly watched their feigning innocence and calmly said, say whatever you want, the divorce certificates are right here. The facts won't change. Marcus suddenly looked up, his eyes a mix of anger and resentment. Grace, do you really have to be like this? Do you think you can make waves without me? Don't forget, your designs were promoted by me. Without me, you wouldn't even have a place to settle. I smiled, my voice as calm as if I were talking about someone else. Promoted? Marcus, for the past 8 years, every design of mine made money for you, but what about you? You can't even remember I'm allergic to dust mites, and you still have the nerve to say you promoted me? He froze, as if my words had struck a nerve, and was speechless. Luna clutched her forehead, feigning weakness, and whispered, Marcus, don't argue with her, she's just jealous that I stole her thunder. I looked at her and sneered, stealing thunder? Luna, all you've stolen are my design achievements and my marriage. Do you even deserve something like thunder? Luna's face changed. She was about to retort but was cut off by Marcus's waving hand. He stared at me, gritting his teeth and saying, Grace, you'll regret this. Without me, you are nothing. I shrugged, leaving him with one last smile. Really? I don't believe it. After left, I continued my journey. A few days later, my colleague Alex sent me a message, attaching several photos of Marcus and Luna. They were even more intimate than the ones Luna had previously posted, and one even showed them in matching pajamas, embracing on the balcony of the Tea Farm guest house. Marcus had posted these on social media, publicly announcing his relationship with Luna. Alex also said with pity in his voice, Ms. Grace, your husband ran off with someone else. You've been through enough. But seeing these photos, my heart remained unfazed. I just felt it was a waste of time, and I'd rather spend it watching the sunset in the coastal town. I didn't reply to Alex, put away my phone, and continued my journey. In just 2 months, I traveled through 10 cities, each one healing me with its unique culture and charm. I remembered how, when I was with Marcus, he always said that only people without career ambition liked to travel around. He told me to settle down, be more mature, and not act like a child. Yet, he was willing to go to an amusement park with Luna, riding the carousel, saying Luna rekindled his youth. Now that I think about it, it was simply because he no longer loved me, so everything I did was wrong. I opened my map and looked at my next destination, which wasn't far from the mountain hamlet where David and Susan lived, so I decided to visit them. But as soon as I walked through the door, I saw the person I least wanted to see. Why was Marcus here? Seeing me return, he immediately stood up, looking flustered. Grace, please don't be angry with me anymore. Come back with me. I frowned, coldly saying, what are you doing here? His eyes were red, tears welling up, and he choked out, I was wrong, Grace, I can't live without you. David and Susan seemed unaware of what had happened, sitting beside him, softly comforting him. Married couples don't argue. Grace, come here and talk to Marcus properly. I sneered, and calmly said, David, Susan, we divorced 4 months ago. Marcus's body trembled, as if he hadn't expected me to be so resolute. He abruptly rushed over, grabbed my arm, and shouted hysterically, Grace, you can't do this. Do you think you'll be better off without me? Don't forget, your clients, your reputation, I gave them to you. I pulled my arm away from him and coldly retorted, my clients? Marcus, every design of mine was drawn by me, working late into the night. All you gave me was betrayal and humiliation. He froze, tears streaming down his face, unable to argue back. I turned to David and Susan, you can ask him for the details. A few days later, I finally understood what he meant by you'll regret this. Marcus knew I had blocked his account, so he specifically had my colleague Alex send me his latest photos with Luna. The photos were even more intimate than before, and one even showed them embracing in matching couple outfits on the balcony of the Tea Farm guest house. These were posts Marcus shared on social media, publicly announcing his relationship with Luna, accompanied by the caption, New life, new beginning. After sent the posts, he added in a sarcastic tone, Ms. Grace, your own husband was stolen by a newcomer. You're quite the failed designer, aren't you? But seeing those photos, my heart remained utterly unfazed. I only felt it was a wasted time I could have spent watching sunrises in coastal towns instead. I didn't reply to Alex. I put my phone away and continued my journey. I recalled how Marcus used to say that only those without ambition liked to constantly travel. He told me to settle down, grow up, and stop acting like a child. Yet, he was willing to go to the amusement park with Luna, riding the bumper cars, claiming she reignited his passion. Now, looking back, I realize it was simply because he no longer loved me, so everything I did was wrong in his eyes. Just as I was preparing for my next destination, I received an anonymous email containing an audio recording. It was a conversation between Marcus and Luna from last night. In the recording, Luna sweetly sighed. Marcus, Grace is gone. Shouldn't you hand over her client accounts to me now? After all, I'm the one who helped you retain all those clients. Marcus sneered, her? With her limited skills, she would have been finished without me. Those clients were always mine, she merely benefited from my association. Don't worry, after the exhibition, I'll transfer all her resources to you. Luna giggled, well, then I really have to thank you, Marcus, you're so good to me. I sneered after listening to the recording. It turned out Marcus not only stole my designs for Luna but also planned to hand over my client accounts. For 8 years, I pulled all-nighters revising drafts, negotiating with clients, and earning countless profits for his studio, yet he dismissed it all with a single phrase: benefited from my association. I forwarded the recording to an industry contact with a note: let everyone see how Marcus boosts new talent. Within 2 days, the industry forum exploded. Someone leaked information that Marcus and Luna submitted plagiarized designs to the exhibition, with my stolen design draft as proof. The post quickly went viral, clients canceled their collaborations, and Marcus's studio's reputation plummeted. Alex sent another message, his tone gloating: Ms. Grace, you're truly ruthless. Now, Marcus and Luna would never recover. I didn't respond, just smiled, and continued planning my next destination. Marcus's karma came faster than I expected. After leaving my parents' house, I continued my journey. My next stop was a northern mountain town. The cold wind was biting. I pulled my winter coat tighter, standing at the base of the snowy mountains, watching the snow falling everywhere, my heart feeling clear and serene. These days, I finally understood how much 8 years of marriage had restrained me. Marcus's betrayal, Luna's provocations, and my parents' misunderstandings, they were all like this snow, cold when they landed, but destined to melt away. But the peace didn't last long. My phone suddenly received a flurry of messages. It was a voice message from Marcus, sent from a new account, his tone urgent and furious. Grace, you're truly ruthless. You sent out that recording, and now all my studio's clients have left. Are you satisfied? Don't think you can ruin me. I've already called the police, you can wait to face a lawsuit. In the last message, his voice dropped, carrying a hint of threat. You'd better come back now and apologize to me, or I'll make sure you're completely ruined in the industry. I sneered, immediately blocked the new account. Destroy him? He was the one who stole my designs for Luna, causing his studio's reputation to be swept away. Now he's blaming me? How ridiculous. I ignored his threats and continued strolling through the town's market, buying some local handmade scarves that I planned to send to David and Susan. But a few days later, trouble still found me. I received a legal notice at my guest house in the snowy mountain town. It was from Marcus's studio, accusing me of maliciously leaking trade secrets and demanding hefty damages and a public apology. I looked at the harshly worded legal notice and sneered. The so-called trade secrets were merely my design drafts and client accounts, yet he had turned the tables on me, accusing me of leaking secrets. I contacted my lawyer friend and prepared to defend the lawsuit. Since he wanted to burn bridges, I wouldn't hold back either. As I was gathering evidence, Luna actually called me, her tone passive-aggressive. Ms. Grace, you're quite something, pushing Marcus to this point. Aren't you afraid he'll actually call the police and have you arrested? I replied coldly, arrest me? Luna, you stole my design drafts, claimed them as your own to win awards, and you have the nerve to talk to me about the law? She paused, then shrieked in protest, stop making baseless accusations. Those were my designs. You're a has-been designer, jealous of my talent, resorting to such vile tactics to ruin me. I couldn't be bothered to argue with her and simply hung up. But she didn't give up. She immediately posted a long article on social media, tearfully accusing me of malicious defamation, and included a photo of herself and Marcus at a tea farm, hinting that I was taking revenge for a failed relationship. The post was quickly shared, and some uninformed people in the industry began to point fingers at me. I sneered, took a screenshot of her award-winning design and a comparison image with my original design, and anonymously posted them on the forum with a simple title, Original or Plagiarism, the will out. Public opinion quickly turned. Luna was severely lambasted, and Marcus's studio became a complete laughingstock. The uproar lasted for half a month, with the condemnation against Marcus and Luna growing louder and louder within the industry. Meanwhile, I was standing on the beach, savoring a long-lost sense of freedom. Just as I was enjoying myself, I received a call from my parents. Grace, Marcus came home. He was crying uncontrollably, saying he was wrong and wanted to remarry you. I frowned and said coldly, remarry? Mom, he stole my designs, accused me of leaking secrets, and he expects me to go back? Mother sighed. He said Luna misled him, and he had a lapse in judgment. Come back and talk to him. Married couples don't hold grudges. I sneered. Mom, he sweet-talked me the same way 8 years ago. Married? We stopped being a couple 4 months ago. I hung up and temporarily blocked my parents' numbers to prevent them from trying to persuade me further. A few days later, I received a call from an unfamiliar number at an island cafe. It was Marcus, his voice hoarse and with a hint of despair. "Grace, I know I was wrong. The studio is ruined, all the clients are gone, and Luna broke up with me too. I've lost everything. Can you please come back?" I replied coldly, "Lost everything? Marcus, you once said I was nothing without you. What about you now? You even have to steal my designs, and you still have the nerve to beg me?" He choked up, his trembling voice coming through the phone. "Grace, I was wrong. I shouldn't have trusted Luna. I shouldn't have taken your drafts. Please give me a chance. I promise I'll turn over a new leaf." I scoffed. "A chance? You used them all up 8 years ago." Without waiting for him to beg further, I hung up and blocked his number. The island sunset cast a golden glow across the sea. I opened my laptop and began organizing new design works, preparing to submit them to international exhibitions. For 8 years, I had created countless drafts for Marcus, but never for myself. Now, I would stand on stage again, under my own name. As for Marcus and Luna, their outcome was simply reaping what they sowed. I closed my laptop and looked up at where the sea meets the sky. The future is long, and my story has just begun.